Police under siege, and the statistics do not lie. The National Fraternal Order of Police reports 323 officers have been shot in the line of duty in 2022, and 60 of those officers died. Our next guest blames pandering prosecutors and cynical politicians for the anti-police sentiment. Let's bring in Patrick Yoes. He is the national president of the National Fraternal Order of Police. Mr. President, Patrick, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Let's talk about this horrendous statistic. Tell me what you mean by pandering politicians and cynical prosecutors.
Well, what we're doing is we're looking at real consequences of a revolving door policies that are emboldening criminals, undermining the rule of law, and making and respect for law enforcement. It's making our jobs and our communities less safe. You know, most violent crime is committed by a small handful of repeat offenders, and when we take them off the street, we impact crime. But decriminalizing criminals and depolicing police is under the guise of criminal justice reform is really at variance with common sense, and it's making the communities who need this help the most. It's making them more vulnerable. You know, I think
I changed up or transposed your specific choice of words, and I think your specific choice of words are important. So you said pandering politicians and cynical prosecutors. Let's take on both of those independently. So first of all, what do you think is driving politicians who are emboldening these policies?
Well, look, I think we put things in two categories. I think we went through a path where we've had a lot of discussions in this country about criminal justice reform. But a lot of these failed policies, we've seen them take shape, and we've reversed course on a number of them, and improving the criminal justice system along the way. At the same time, what we have not done is reverse course on politicians or prosecutors who are under the guise of criminal justice reform are depolicing the police and at the same time emboldening criminals. And what we're seeing is the results of that. We're seeing crime across this country increase and attacks towards law enforcement proportionately. This is one of the worst years we've had for attacks on law enforcement. We have had 87 ambush attacks of law enforcement officers with 124 officers shot. 31 of them were killed. Now, let's keep in mind, 31 were killed, but they tried to kill 323. So this is a very dangerous time for law enforcement. Right. And if they have that little respect for law enforcement, where does our community stand?
No doubt. And so the role of the pandering politician in that is to continue to villainize, that they had for years, law enforcement. And as you point out, there's been no reversal of course on those politicians still holding office. And then finally, there's the prosecutors, because you mentioned there's a revolving door. And it's a small population of criminals who continue to perpetuate this crime and this violence. So now we're talking about policies by these prosecutors that continue to put these guys back on the street.
Yeah, look, there's no question. Ask anyone who's been in law enforcement for any period of time, and they will tell you that a large percentage of the crime is committed by repeat offenders. Right. Violent crime is by repeat offenders. What we've done is we've stopped taking them off the street and putting them back on the street where they can continue to do the carnage in communities and terrorize their own communities.
Yeah, 323 officers shot in the line of duty. There's a price to pay for all this pandering.
No doubt.
All right, Patrick Yoes, thank you so much for being with us this morning.